That's when I bought that brand new '57 Chevy. That was neat.
Mm.
And then I bought like 7 or 8, and I can't remember, new cars after that, and that was always fun. I was a car buff back in my younger days.
How are you always able to afford new cars?
Well, payments were easy.
And he had his dad. I mean, his dad would go shopping with him.
Yeah.
Two of them.
Yeah, we had a good time. My first couple cars, he went with me, and we had a good time picking out a car.
I never owned a car. Got married before I could drive. Now there's something wrong with that. When you have to walk by a car to walk to school because you don't have a license. There's something wrong with that.
Huh.
What made it so good was my dad was worse than I was, as far as he bought a car every year. Every year he would buy a car. As long as I can remember,
Just
my
sell
dad,
it and buy it and sell it and buy it.
he traded in.
Mm-hmm.
But he'd only have like 12, 13,000 miles on him.
Hmm.
But he used to tell my mom, he says, I work every day. I never take a day off. I never take off sick. My dad, no matter how sick he was, he would go to work.
What did he
was
do?
Incredible. Man.
He worked in the mines his whole
It's all
life.
mine the whole time.
Yeah, he was as long as I remember my dad, he was always the superintendent, even in Grass Valley, California.
Hmm.
He wasn't a superintendent then, but he was they called them back in those days level bosses, I think it was.
Yeah.
That's when he'd high grade the gold, hide it. And they wouldn't check the big shots or the bosses. That the poor miners, they'd check them and fire them or find out they have gold hidden on them, and that.
Mm-hmm.
And now I lost my train of thought. But
Buying cars, he was worse.
oh, Dad, he would always say, "Never miss work," and all that. And he says, "I deserve a new car every year." And back in those days, you could almost buy a new car every year and trade it in for just under $1,000.
Oh gosh.
You could buy. You could buy a car for $2,000.
Yeah, 27.
That crazy?
But he would buy a car every year. We always had a new car.
But
And
he was
then-
an incredible man. He's one of the most incredible men I've ever met. He loved me like a daughter. I got his last letter he wrote before he died.
He gave you a nickname. You had a nickname.
Sherry.
Seriously. Knew
I
that.
was the only one he called. And why Sherry, I don't know. But he wrote me letters when he had his heart attack. Then Grandma and Dad thought that would be pretty good to have, but they're my letters. He was incredible.
Yeah, when I was
So
driving,
good.
my first car was a Model A Ford that I bought for $150 from Uncle Ed. And then after a year, got a 53 Chevy that I bought from another. It wasn't an uncle. I don't know what he was. Like an uncle, I can't think. The one that has the place out of town. Anyway, I bought his car. And I wanted a 57 Chevy so bad when I was a freshman in high school. About halfway through.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom kept saying, "You don't need a new car. Your Chevy's fine." And I wanted one so bad. I remember I'd come home and I'd say, "Man, the brakes just aren't working very good on this car." And one day, Mom, I said, "Man, I really had a close call today. I went around a corner and the car swerved and I said, man, I don't know what's wrong with it, but I think I need a car." And so my mom went and talked to my dad and said, Les, maybe you had to think about looking for a car with him. If he's having that much trouble, we don't want to have any trouble with
You had your
having the
mom
car.
so bamboozled that
So I said, "Dad, let's go. I want a 57 Chevy." Well, he got so excited. He was like a little kid turned loose in a candy factory. He says, "Let's go, Butch. Let's go." He says, "Let's go to Denver." Because that's where
Lots
he bought
are, yeah.
cars. But we only got to Salida, which is 60 miles away. We got to Salida, and there's a Chevrolet garage there. And here's this yellow 57 Chevy sitting there. And he says, what about that? I looked at it. Oh my God, that thing's beautiful, Dad. I said, man, I love that car. And we went in there and cost $2,800 for a brand new '57 Chevy Bel Air.
Crazy, huh?
Then I bought that '59 Ford Galaxy my senior year. That's when we got married in.
Nice.
I can't remember. Did he go with me to that one? I don't think so. Did he?
Well,
I don't think he
yes.
went with me on that
Yes,
one.
because you and him stopped by my house to show me the new car.
Oh, the '59 Ford?
We were just going together, you know.
That's one thing about getting old. You don't remember things.
Why do you think we're doing this?
Yeah.
That's why it's smart when you get older to choose your friends wisely. If you choose the older friends, they can't see that well. They don't, of course, not hearing's a bite, but they can't see all your wrinkles and that. Choose your friends wisely.